Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with some more Scramble Battle of Britain. It has now released into early access, so everyone can jump onto the game. It's retailing for $29.99, but right now you can get it on sale, a little 10% off, so you can get it for about $26 if you jump on it before November the 13th. And this game was released by Slithering Games. Now, I have covered Scramble previously. I've showed you guys a little bit of the gameplay, but now that it's in early access, it's added some new features to it. Sadly, the campaign isn't in there yet. I'm really looking forward to the campaign. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, but it's still being worked on. This is one of the gives and takes when it comes to early access, is you get a piece of the game, but you don't have the whole thing yet. It's kind of like that anticipation for Christmas morning. You're at Christmas Eve, you're almost there, you got a little bit, the excitement's there, but you don't get the full thing until the next morning. But we do have a lot to play with here on Christmas Eve. So what I showed you guys previously was just the missions. They had a handful of missions you could do. These were pre-made missions where it would be a set number of aircraft against a set number of other aircraft, and you didn't really have a whole lot to poke around with. Now they've opened that up a little bit more. There is a mission generator, so you can create your own custom missions. You can pick which side you're going to play as. Right now it is just the two factions, the British and the Germans, but they actually do have some Polish pilots in there, which I think is cool because that is historically accurate, that there were Polish pilots who had escaped Poland after the conquest from the Germans, and they went to Britain and they continued the fight throughout the war to try to retake their home country. I think that's really cool that they do have Polish pilots included in this. But when it comes to the mission generator, you can check any number of boxes, right? You can choose whether you play as the good guys, the bad guys. You can have any number of aircraft, I think up to 6 friendlies versus a different number of enemy aircraft depending on which side that you're going to play as. So if you're playing as the British, you do have some more options when it comes to enemy aircraft to go after. Right now, the Spitfire is the only thing that you can fight if you're playing as the Germans. When you play as the British, you do have the choice to go against the 109s, the 110s, and Stukas. Right? Stuka Joe, I love Stuka Joe. Go check him out. It's awesome. But you can have a varying amount of enemy aircraft. I think it goes up to 6 per, so you can have like 6 109, 6S, whatever. Just depending. You can adjust things like the weather, and you have the option to adjust the advantage, right? So when it comes to fighter on fighter, air combat, dogfighting, height is an advantage, right? You want to be above your opponent because you can translate that height into speed and come down and swoop in on your opponent. So you have the option to give the advantage to your side, the enemy side, or you can be neutral where you'll be, equal with each other. Neither side really has the advantage. And you can do that with both sides, obviously. Something else that they have added to the game is the squadron leader. It's not a campaign per se. This is more like a roguelike in a little bit of a fashion. You will control a set number of pilots. Now this, you are playing as the British. You don't have the option yet to play as the Germans. I don't know if that's going to be added later or not. But you'll have a set number of pilots in your squadron. And you're managing your pilots. Your pilots will be assigned to be on active duty for a day, right? And these pilots will each have certain perks or negative traits. Some will give them advantages, like making their plane a little more durable or a little more agile. And some of them, unfortunately, will make you a little bit weaker. It might reduce the amount of control surface that you have, the amount of control you have with the aircraft. Might make it weaker. Might make it to where the enemy has an easier time blowing off pieces of your plane. All the different pilots have a random selection of perks assigned to them, so that gives some variability to the gameplay. I like that. Also, when you're controlling your squadron, you will assign them to Alpha or Bravo, and these are 2 sections. Each can have up to 3 pilots assigned to them, but you have to have at least 1 pilot assigned to each. So if there's ever a day where you can't assign at least 2 pilots, then you're going to lose. Okay? And these pilots are going to start to build stress over time and get tired. So they're going to have to be placed on leave. So you'll have three sections that your pilots can be in. They can either be on duty, they can be on leave where you can't access them until the next day, or they might be casualties. They've taken injuries or bailed out from a previous mission, at which point you'll have to wait till they heal up before they can be put on active duty again. You'll make your choices for the day. You can assign, like I said, up to 6 pilots, 3 for each, Alpha and Bravo. And you can have any remaining pilots who are in good form left on active duty. That way, if you take any casualties throughout the day, you might be able to replace them with other pilots that are on active duty. But like I said, remember, you can't pull from any that are on leave. Once you assign a pilot to be on leave, he is going to be on leave for the remainder of that day. Throughout the day, you're going to have 4 time segments pass by. Each time you click to pass time, there's a chance that a mission can happen. So this is what the RAF pilots experienced during the Battle of Britain. They never knew when a German attack was going to come in, and they had to be prepared to launch at a moment's notice. You're kind of recreating that with the squadron leader. So if a mission pops up, for example, the mission I have in the background is one where some Me-110s were coming in and they were trying to attack a ship. One of my sections was selected and happened to be the one that had the Polish pilots in it. And those 3 pilots will be assigned to that mission, and then you'll have to carry out that mission to try to, stop the German aircraft, protect the British assets so they can continue to fight. And that's how your day is going to go on over and over and over again. You're going to have 30 days that you have to get through. So you need to manage your squadron effectively to be able to last the 30 days. Sure, you start off strong. You have plenty of pilots to fill up all those rosters. Alpha and Bravo, they're full. You've got other guys who are on duty ready to jump in on a moment's notice. But as those missions start to tick by, well, now you're going to have guys in casualty boxes. Now you're going to have guys who have to be on leave because they've done 2-3 missions and they're wiped out. They need a little downtime so they can build their stamina back because they just can't fly anymore. And if you can't field at least 1 pilot in Alpha and Bravo, so you need those 2, then you're going to fail. So you have to maintain that squadron throughout those 30 days to be able to succeed. I think this is going to lend a lot of replay value to the game, and that the squadron leader is going to play different each time. When you're playing the game, you don't know what missions you're going to be assigned, what enemies you're going to have to fight. It's always going to be different. Some days you might have it pass through where no missions get called and you get to rest up your pilots. And then you might have some where you get called on a mission time and time again, and your pilots are just worn down and you're trying to just eke it by the skin of your teeth. So all of that, when it comes down to the gameplay itself, the gameplay hasn't changed. I talked about the gameplay in some previous videos. I think the gameplay is excellent. I love it. I've had a ball with this game playing the demo previously, and nothing's really changed on that. The graphics are good. The sound is good when it comes to the game. A game like this doesn't need to have excellent graphics to really be stand out, but it does look good. So they've got quality graphics that will run on a decent machine, so you don't have to have something that's, hugely high-end spec system to be able to run this game. The combat itself is going to play out just like we've seen previously, where it will take place in few second increments. So it's a tactical type of gameplay that you will make your choice for your aircraft, what you think is best, right, for the upcoming few seconds. And you'll see some of the gameplay in the background as I'm talking about this. But it becomes really intense, especially when you've got that furball going on and there's a lot of aircraft just, swarming in on each other. I had one mission, I'm going to leave it at the end of this so you guys can watch one entirely be played through, where I had 2 Spitfires fighting against 2 109s and 2 110s. It was intense, but I had the advantage coming in. I was able to swoop in and do enough damage to those 110s that they were like, nope, we're going to bug out. But I still had to contend with the 2 109s. And in the process of the fight, one of my Spitfires ends up ramming one of the 110s. That's how it got taken out. But now I'm down to one Spitfire. I was able to shoot up one of the 109s, so now I'm just in a one-on-one dogfight. 109 against my remaining Spitfire, and it was intense. That one, God, I had to make 20, 25 some decisions and those few second increments. And it's so cool to watch the replay back, and you realize the entirety of the fight only took a couple of minutes, but you're doing it in these just few second increments, so it feels like this just a tired slog that you've just burned through. As I was trying to loop around, try to get on his 6, he's coming around me, I'm trying to dodge his fire. There were times that he missed me just by a hair. I'm looping around, my pilot blacks out because I'm pulling these hard-ass maneuvers, trying to get around on his 6, and then I watch the replay, and the replay is done in like 2 minutes, right? The whole fight just took a couple of minutes, but making all those choices as you're playing through it, it feels like there's this intense slog that you've got through. And when you finally get that last shot in and you take out the enemy plane, you jump in your seat and you're like, hell yeah, I got him. It really gives you that feeling of accomplishment when you're finally able to line up your shot and you get him right there in your crosshairs. So do I think that Scramble is worth getting? Yeah, I definitely think Scramble is worth getting. It's a lot of fun. Just playing through the missions is fun. Even if they just had the missions, the pre-formed missions and the mission generator now, that's enough gameplay to keep you occupied for a good amount of time. And then you've got the Squadron thing thrown in. That's almost infinite replayability right there. So if you're into dogfighting, you're into World War II air combat, this is definitely one you want to check out. Jump on it now. You can play the game, have fun with it while you wait for the campaign to come out. I'm definitely going to cover more of this game when the campaign releases, because I can only imagine how cool this game's going to become when we now have a campaign to go along with all that extra gameplay. And before I get off here, I will add that thus far I haven't had any glitches, I haven't had any crashes, I haven't had anything like that that's given me any errors with the game. It's played smoothly. I've played it with both a controller and a keyboard and mouse. You can use either. It's really up to you on which one you want to use. Personally, I like the controller because I can just kind of sit back, relax, make some choices. I think you get a little bit more control, obviously, with a mouse. It's a little finicky when you're trying to do it with a joystick on a controller, but it's really not that hard. You can get done what you need to get done. Just sometimes I'm pulling in the wrong direction because, obviously down is up is down when it comes to the aircraft. But this one is definitely worth checking out. So if you're into tactical dogfighting, definitely go check it out. It's on Steam right now. I'm going to leave an entire match here at the end of the video. That way you can watch me with the 2 Spitfires taking on the 2 109s and 2 110s and just see how intense that dogfight was, especially when real quick into the match I rammed one of the 110s by accident with my Spitfire. And it was at one point, I can't remember, I know it was 2-on-1 on that moment, if not 3-on-1. I might have taken out the 2 110s by that point, but either way, excellent fun match. Definitely a game I must spend some more time with. All right, that's going to be it for me. Y'all take care. I'll catch you in the next one.